Right, this is the next day. Yesterday I assembled the main casings, put the lay shaft in, and the main shaft and the primary motion shaft, after changing just the little bearing between the primary motion shaft and the main shaft that was all pitted, as you saw earlier. The other bearings were in lovely condition, I mean really nice, I don't know why, but they were very good. And consequently, when I was shimming them up, I think I only needed a shim of about 1/1000 of an inch thicker. That was all, which would account for the little bit of settling down it's done. So I was happy at that. But today, I stripped down the extension housing here. This is the one. And what did I find? Well, I found where our metal was coming from. Now I'm going to put some pictures again, which I took with my super duper magnifying glass, and it's not a magnifying glass, it's a microscope. It's a really good piece of kit, but holding it, oh my god, you move it, even your heartbeat, if you're holding it, it makes it go all blurry. But so I've got a stand coming so we can get some better pictures. But if you can see here, just as showing you what it is, this bearing goes on the main shaft. This is all pitted. I'll show you some pictures now and you can see what it's like. Kaput. This bearing here was totally finished. It's got a step on it. Step on. Happy Mondays. All in here is one, and you can see some bearings now. Now all I had was a really good used bearing, and it was nice and tight and things like this. I had a bearing for the top and a bearing for the bottom. Now I put them in because, like I say, I think they'll last on a car that's just going to be used, you know, for regular duty, not towing 4 tons. Which sort of brings us to what happened to my project to put heavy duty bearings in. Well, it didn't get very far. Well, it's almost there. This is it here. We've got this bearing in here. We've worked out how to do that now to fit the oil pump. The next thing is we've got to do that one, but you know, to be honest, I've been so bloody busy, I haven't got time to do it, and that's why I want to ease up on a lot of these jobs I get in, because they just take over everything. Projects I really want to do and want to finish, I can never get round to doing them. I know it sounds bizarre, but anyway, I put 2 really good bearings in here, and we'll see how they go. I think they'll be fine. I honestly think they're fine. And what my problem is, and that's why I said I could strip this down in an afternoon and put it all back together again, is that a rebuild kit from Ashcroft's is £311 for the TD5, plus around about 75 quid to 100 quid shipping once you got duties and taxes. So that's, you know, it pushes up like 400 quid for a kit. Now, because I said earlier, we don't get that many TD5s. And the only great difference is the input shaft's a lot longer. So we don't get that many, not much demand. So do I want to build a gearbox up all nice and shiny and new, and put it on the shelf for another 5 years, waiting for another gearbox to blow up? No. For regular duty, I think they'll be fine. It's once you start giving them big licks, you know, lot more power, lot more weight, something's got to give, and it's generally these. Now, these were the original RHP bearings, so they've done okay, I suppose. But perhaps that's where he said all the metal filings were coming from. I mean, you can see how loose it was, eh? So the shaft's been giving it this. Now I've got it on the floor with the new bearings. The meshing is lovely and tight, so they're good bearings. So I'm pointing it down here because, well, maybe you can just see the shaft there, but I think once they're the lay shaft and the main shaft, well, how would it be? They'd be like this, it look like an Egyptian. The lay shaft and the main shaft, as long as they're tight, not flopping about, there's a good chance that these in the extension housing will be okay too. I hope. But like I say, for regular use, you know, bottering around, I think they'll be perfectly well. Yeah, well, look, here's another inner piece that I found, and you can see how that's nice and grey. And again, once I got the microscope out, and this is a used bearing, and I looked at the rollers in here, they were perfect, you know. So yeah, I'm not being a cheapskate. I just don't want to put like 400 quid into something just to be stuck on a shelf. Anyway, doesn't really matter. This afternoon I'm going to press on, press and put this back together again. Not much to do to it now, it's all set up. So just a little bit of sealer round here, pop that on, get all my bolts in. Where have my bolts gone? I'll go and find them, hang on. Yeah, you've probably seen how I do this before. I get these speed nuts here, put them on a metal bar, put the bolts in, quick 2 minutes in the sandblaster, clean them all off, zinc 100, Volta, and they don't go rusty. It's really good. It saves buying new bolts. Because there's nothing worse than putting, well, there's something worse, getting poked in the eye with a burning stick or something like that. But putting a nice clean casings together with all rusty bolts, it's not much fun, is it? And like I say, these are kind of easy to strip down and put back together again because I have no real problems. The only thing I might be having a problem is with the oil pump. I haven't taken it to bits yet. I don't know what to expect to find. I'll pause the video here and we'll have a look inside. Well, here we are having a look inside the oil pump. What are we going to find? I don't know. If you are going to take an oil pump apart, it's advisable to ask Ashcroft's for a gasket and an O-ring because they're not in the kit. I don't know why. I think everybody thinks you're going to put a new oil pump on, but sometimes they're okay. And always get the correct size torques. There are two different sizes, so if you put the wrong one in, you'll strip it. The gasket you're going to destroy. Don't think about saving it again. There's the other bit. There we go. Oh. Remarkably, it looks fine. Good. We can use him again. I'm going to clean him up and fit him to the box. Well, strangely enough, all the components in this oil pump are very, very good. We're going to assemble it, but we're not going to put the end cover on until we've got it on the gearbox. And the simple reason is that it makes it so much easier to line that gear up. So we're going to put a little bit of Vaseline on that, just to help, you know, seal it whilst it's turning. I don't think it's really necessary on this one because it's actually buried in oil anyway, so I'm going to put that together somehow. That should drop in the hole somehow there, and we shall grab hold of a new O-ring. Like I said, these don't come in the kit for some reason. I honestly don't know why. These pumps will only go on in one direction. Harry Styles. There are two holes. This is the bottom one, so it goes in sort of like that. So I'm just going to pop that in, and I'm going to use some guide studs, which I made up a long time ago. I make these little guide studs like this, look. So that this is just as they should look. Oh, that's got a helicoil in there, that's why it won't fit. This is an old pump. I got a disc out of a pulling set and put that. And they're only going one way. That's not the right way. There we go. That disc is turned down just smaller than here, and you can hit it here and bang, it goes in. They are a real bitch of a job to do. They are not easy. Believe me, they are not easy. So now with the pump in, we're going to put a little bit of Loctite on the bolts, and hopefully that won't leak, because I have had these leak before, which was kind of annoying to say the least. So we're going to clean them up, put some screws on, put the cover on, new gasket. Where's the new gasket? New gasket's here. You have to believe me, there's new gasket. It's very similar to the old one, except it hasn't got that stuff on there, it's just got a paper gasket on. Well worth getting extras from Ashcroft. So that's taking care of that. I think this is going to be a really good box. I've got a few little jobs to do. I put the extension house, you know, the shifter housing on, and that's about it. So watch out for those bearings. You don't always have to change them, but a lot of people do. But like I say, it's going to be on the shelf for another 5 years.